It's now 6:30. I'd like to call to order the Regional Planning Commission public hearing for Thursday, October the 7th, and it is now, like I said, 6:30. I'm going to ask Commissioner Karcher to lead us into the pledge. Thank you, Mr. Karcher. Now I'll ask Sarah if she'll do the roll call and determination of quorum, please.
Mr. Peterman?
Here.
Mr. Servon?
Present.
Mrs. Karcher?
Here.
Mr. Mills?
Here.
Mr. Spinarelli? Absent. Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Jester?
Here.
So you have 6 present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I will now come right back to you for the introduction and public hearing instructions.
Do you want to do approval?
We have the agenda approval next. I'm sorry, I skipped over that. You all have an agenda in front of you. My mistake. Is there any corrections or additions to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please call the vote.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes.
Mr. Servon?
Yes.
Mrs. Karcher?
Yes.
Mr. Mills?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Jester?
Yes.
So you have 6 yeas in favor of approving tonight's agenda.
Now I guess I can move on and ask Sarah to do the introduction and public hearing instructions, please.
Thank you. This public hearing is conducted for the purpose of giving the citizens of the county the opportunity to present testimony on the applications before the Regional Planning Commission. Everyone will have a chance to speak. All statements are to be made from the podium at the front of the room. All testimony given shall be sworn or affirmed. For the record, please give your name and address. Copies of any written statements or exhibits used during the hearing should be presented for identification and inclusion in the record. The record will remain open for 2 business days following tonight's hearing. For the applications before the Commission, the chairman will introduce the application. Then the applicant or representative will be given 15 minutes to present the application. Then those in favor of the application will be allotted 5 minutes each to speak. Then those opposed to the application will be allotted 5 minutes each to speak. When everyone has had an opportunity to give testimony, the hearing on the application will be closed. No decision will be made by the Commission tonight. The Commission will hold a public business meeting next Thursday, October 14th at 6:30 p.m., at which time it will make a decision on the public hearing applications heard tonight. All of the information of record will be considered. A common vote of 4 members of the Commission shall be required to make a decision. Anyone may attend the business meeting, but no new testimony will be received. The public notice of this hearing was published on September 17th, 2021 in the Delaware State News, and the Levy Court will hear these applications on Tuesday, October 26th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Unless tabled by the Planning Commission or withdrawn prior to the Levy Court hearing, the Levy Court also meets in this room. And then finally, for anyone joining via WebEx during the hearings, instructions will be given for each application for how to provide comment. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Sarah. We'll now move on into the public hearing. The first one tonight for the public is application C-21-05, Adelaide E. Blackwood, 2118 Woodleytown Road, Magnolia, Delaware, 19962. Present zoning is AC, Agriculture Conservation. Relationship to the growth zone is inside. Present use is residential. Proposed use is residential with a conditional use for dog grooming. Levy Court District is the 4th District, Mr. Buxton. School District is Caesar Rodney. Fire District is Magnolia, Station 55. Area and location, 5.5 plus or minus acres located on the south side of Woodleytown Road, approximately 234 feet east of Briarbush Road, west of Magnolia. Is there somebody here to represent this application? Please come to the microphone. Give us your name and your address, and you'll either be swore or affirmed by our attorney.
Hello, I'm Adelheid Blackwood, and I live on 2118 Woodley Town Road in Magnolia, Delaware.
Ms. Blackwood, excuse me, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Proceed.
Okay, the reason I'm here is that I'm a dog groomer, and I've been grooming for 25 years. I am the owner of Adel's Pooch Parlor.
Can I ask you to pull the microphone closer? These masks make it so it kind of muffles everything, so as close as you can get, please.
Can you hear me now? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yay. I'm the owner of Adel's Pooch Parlor. I own a business on Rising Sun Road in Camden. And the reason why I do a proposal for this is I like to upgrade my business. More newer building, more efficient, I believe safer as well than what I have on Rising Sun Road. As you can see, I have quite some parking space, like 9 parking spaces for cars, and what I have at the moment is only 5. And I am also away from the road. As you can tell, I'm going to be 106 feet onto the property and 15 feet from the neighbor. That's Paul Schreppler. And I'm going to have landscaping on that one side. And I have already trees on the other side. So that's actually, a good cover for my neighbor who lives on the other side. Let me see. I don't know, that's it.
Well, you did very good on the presentation.
If you have any questions for me.
Are you aware of the staff recommendations about the proposed building and the buffer? It sounds like you are aware.
Yes.
And you agree with them?
Yes.
Very good.
And actually, all the requirements that the county gave me, I was totally good with that. So
very good. I'm going to open up to the other commissioners. Is there anybody here or on the phone that have a question? Mr. Peterman?
What will be your hours of operation? And will there be any conditions where you keep a dog overnight?
Absolutely not. I don't do it now, and I will not do it in the future. My business hours are from 9 to 5. And I work from Tuesday through Friday and every other Saturday. So I'm always off on Sundays and Mondays, and then I have a whole weekend to myself the other week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other commissioners? Mr. Davis?
Thank you. The one question I was asked when we have these issues come up, what is your closest neighbor's number one question, and have you spoken to them about potential noise, or is it a situation that they're not close enough that the dogs would be barking, and how many would you be having in the kennel at one time?
Oh, I'm not going to have a kennel.
Okay.
No, the building is going to be pretty much, I cannot really say soundproof, but I'm going to make sure that it has, thicker walls inside. And, I'm just so nervous.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine. It won't last very long.
Huh? My closest neighbor is Justin and Ashley. They're on the house to the left. Yeah. No, this one on the other side. No, that's the Williamses. The house right there. Yeah, that one.
So I assume that they have no problem with the type of business. Have you spoke to them?
I spoke to all of them, and they said they didn't have a problem.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Do you, is any
turn,
other
Tom.
commissioners, are you okay, Mr. Davis? Is any other commissioners have any questions, either on the phone or here at the table? Seeing none,
No,
thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'll now ask, is there anybody else here in favor of this application? Anybody else in favor would like to speak? Third and final call for in favor. Anybody else in favor and here would like to speak? Going to the opposition, is there anybody here against this? Sir, come to the microphone, give us your name and address, and you'll either be sworn or affirmed. You could go on right there.
Either one.
My name is Justin Downen. I live at 2112 Woodleytown Road, Magnolia. I'm the neighbor.
Sir, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Proceed.
Am I allowed to speak without the mask, or do I need the mask while I speak?
We can hear you.
Okay. So first off, I'd just like to say I don't blame her at all for wanting to do this. It makes sense to want to work from home. I'd like to work from home. I think most people would like to work from home. She told me the benefits to her saving money on a business location, and I understand that. And I really do think that there is a way for her to get what she wants. I don't think her benefit at the cost of our family's convenience, privacy, and property value is the best course of action. And I've tried to explain this. A little history about the property. So an elderly lady lived there. She broke off 1.7 acres to give to her granddaughter so they could live there and take care of her. I bought the property from that granddaughter. The property is very unique. It's an odd-shaped property, and the houses are close to one another, and we have a shared driveway. My understanding is that if this worked out, DelDOT would give her a new driveway, and she told me that was already approved, but she also told me the county had already approved this request and that all neighbors were in agreement, which is not the case. I'm not the only opposing neighbor. Mike Williams is also in opposition. He could not be here tonight because his school has a open house, but he texted me and he's willing to participate via phone if necessary. So my children are 4, 6, and 10. We have a small backyard. We have a large front yard. We play in our front yard. We ride bikes on our driveway. We play with our dog out there. We have a swimming pool in the front. I'm not excited about the idea of a business and a business building and a business parking lot replacing our view out of our front window, which is now a farm field, becoming a parking lot and a business. And I'm not excited about working nights and then coming home and spending daytime dealing with traffic in and out of our shared driveway and on our property. I'm not sure that DelDOT is going to approve a second driveway. To me, it seems unlikely based on Woodleytown. The road itself is a dangerous road. The person I bought the house from could not get approved for a driveway for his own house, which is why we have a shared driveway. So I don't know what's going to happen with the business drive. It seems most likely that the shared driveway would have a lot of traffic to and from the house and her proposed building. I don't believe that the only business taking place will be out of the building by the road that will become my view. I think most people would live in their house, and when people come to see them about business, they would answer the door. Our houses are very close to one another. So I walk out my front door, we're staring at each other. And this is a really a challenging situation because I don't want to oppose her. I don't want to have bad neighbor relations. The way this started was I bought my property and she bought her property sometime later with the intention of putting a business there. And she approached me a number of years ago when she moved in. The first week she moved in, said, I want a dog kennel. And I said, I don't want to live next to a dog kennel because the noise will be bad and it will decrease my property value. And she said it would increase my property value, and she didn't seem to understand my objection. And so now some years have passed, and she said, I'm not going to do a dog kennel, I'm just going to have a dog grooming business. The problem is boarding dogs for people is very profitable. She's told me she doesn't want a dog kennel, but her daughter does. I don't know the nature of the business or how they work together. And I'm willing to take her at her word that there would never be dogs boarded there. But I do know my dogs will bark at people coming and going, and I know that the traffic will still be the same. And there is a possibility that in the future, they will decide to board dogs, and I'll just have to take them at their word, and there will be little recourse at that point.
Can I say something, sir?
Yes, sir.
Part of the condition of this approval is under the conditions of use, there is no overnight boarding of animals, and there will be no kennels on the property.
So-
That's part of the approval of this particular application.
Right. Right. I'm also in law enforcement. I know how hard it is to enforce things. And she's told me her daughter wants a dog kennel. And at some point, her daughter is going to own this, is what she told me. So at that point, if a customer says, can you watch my dog for the weekend? I'll give you $200. It will be up to me to, I guess, call somebody and say, I got a barking dog next door. But she's made it very clear that her daughter thinks they should have a kennel. She doesn't. And if it was just a person I dealt with for years and never had any issues with, I would take her at her word. But when she approached me about this, she said the county had already approved it, which is obviously not true. All neighbors were in agreement, which is not true. And that DelDOT had approved the driveway, which just seems somewhat suspect to me based on what I know of the process. So, again, I think that there's a way that she could get what she wants. I don't think causing a change in our situation of this magnitude is the way to do it. She has grown children and friends, and they could at some point buy our property. I want the same type of stuff she wants. I teach shooting lessons. I would love to teach shooting lessons on my property. It wouldn't work out. You guys wouldn't allow it for good reasons. I'd love to walk out in my yard and just give a shooting lesson. I drive long distances. I'm going to move at some point to buy the land that I need to do what I want to do, just like I think she should do. She could buy my property at some point and have a family member live there, and it would be great. But I don't think that while we're living there, I don't think that this, and it will be a change to our property value, and it will be a change to our situation, what we see, what we experience. My kids playing on the drive with people driving in, texting on their phone, coming to a business. It's not going to be the same, and I hate to oppose her because I do like her, but I don't believe that this is an accommodation that comes at no cost to us. I think it comes at a great cost to us while being a great benefit for her.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Denise, I think, has a question for the applicant. She didn't ask.
Two questions. What would be the maximum number of dogs you would see per day?
How many dogs? About 10 to 12.
Okay, and
the people don't all come in at the same time. They come from 8 to 10, so it's 1, maybe 2 at the highest.
I know. I had a poodle for 15 years, so I know all about going to dog groomers. And there will be no dogs outside, correct? Other than to get from the car into the building.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, if we put a condition of that nature, we can put a condition of that, yes, on the.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And what is so nice about it is because I am so far from the road now that the people can actually park right up to the building and then they just walk their dogs. And actually, I have quite some elderly people, and I go out there and take the dog out of the car for them.
Okay.
So.
And now I guess I have a question of Sarah. Without getting too exorbitantly priced, is there some condition we can put in about soundproofing?
Yes, I think there are options to look at for the construction of the building. Yes, I think there are options that could be relatively affordable.
Okay, thank you.
But may I say something else? I did go to DelDOT, and I have a second driveway because I do not want to share my private driveway with the customers. And they told me that I had to widen that road, the driveway. And so they gave me restrictions of, how long I have to make it to come in. And I like Mr. Justin, and I went to Mr. Williams personally to his house, and they made me come in, and the only thing that he was worried about was, well, Adel, what if you're going to sell your business? Will there be a car place? So I went to the county and I asked one of the girls, and I said, ma'am, can that happen? And she said, absolutely not. It's not zoned for a car place. Because down the road we have a farm and they have cars and they like to start them up in the middle of the night. So Mr. Williams was really concerned, and I told him no. So I'm kind of shocked that he just says no now to my business, because he told me, Adel, no problem. We love dogs. You have my yes word.
Okay, thank you very
That's
much.
fine. We don't get into personal conflicts.
No,
at the
but
microphone.
I mean, that's
thank
just
you
what
for-
I wanted
thank you for
to,
thank you for answering her question. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm still in the against mode for the second call. Is there anyone else here against this project? Third and final call. Anyone else here against this project? If not, it'll be taken. Excuse me?
Phone.
Is there anyone on the phone, Mark?
I see no hands raised on the phone in opposition at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll take this up next week at our meeting. Next on the agenda tonight is ordinance number LC 21-15, application number and name CZ-21-04, Snake Creek MXX LLC. Applicant and engineer, Scott Engineering Incorporated, care of Greg Scott, P.E., 22 Old Redneck Lane, Suite 2, Dover, Delaware, 19901. Owner is Vincent Aresta Garasto, 696 Statonsville Road, Harrington, Delaware, 19952. Present zoning, comp plan map designation is AR, agricultural residential, low density residential. Proposed zoning, comp plan map designation, IL, limited industrial, industrial. Relation to the growth zone, outside. Levy Court District, 4th, Eric Buxton. School District, Woodbridge. Fire District, Farmington, Station 47. Area and location, 16.80 plus or minus acres. On the south side of Statonsville Road, County Road number 117, approximately 0.71 miles east of Woodyard Road, County Road number 118, southeast of Farmington. Is there someone here to represent this application? Please come to the mic. Mr. Scott, give your name, your address, and you'll be either sworn or affirmed.
My name is Greg Scott with Scott Engineering, Inc., and located at 22 Old Rudnick Lane, Dover, Delaware.
Mr. Scott, do you swear or affirm, sir, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Proceed.
Okay.
Greg, can I ask you once again to pull it closer? We
Yes,
just can't hear it
I'm
that
sorry.
well. Thank you, sir.
And I may have to pull this down because my glasses are going to fog up, and believe me, I got to read tonight because I'm getting old. I can't remember all this stuff. And
I'm not even going to represent that.
all right. So anyway, the property, as you mentioned, is located on Statenville Road, east of Harrington, in a rural area with little development around it. There's a few houses across the road. It's surrounded by other AR zone property and located mostly in woods, and surrounded on approximately 90% of its perimeter by woods. The property is presently used as a residence and a motocross track, and is 16 acres in size. The track is used primarily for recreational purposes and motocross practicing, with a few races that they run there per year. The owner's rep is here tonight, and he can expand upon that a little bit later. The property was previously about 8.26 acres in size and was the subject of a minor lot line adjustment application in June of 2012, where an additional 8.5 acres was added to the property to expand it. And at that time, the track was in existence. And from my understanding from the historical areas that I've been able to access, the property has been used for a motocross track for over 16 years. Now, the property is, from the best of my knowledge, one of only 3 motocross tracks in the state of Delaware. Middleford Speedway in Seaford and Blue Diamond MX in Newcastle are the other 2 tracks, and the Seaford track is located in a AG zone. The Newcastle track, however, is now permanently closed, but was located in a residential area in what they call an EX, or extractive use zone. So as you'll note, there's very few types of these tracks remaining in the state of Delaware where this type of activity can take place for those that are motocross enthusiasts. The Seaford track's located in an area nearly identical to this property, surrounded by woods and with a few residential properties on the opposite side of the road. The current zoning of the property does not allow the present use, which has been classified by the county's legal counsel as a racetrack. The only zone, obviously, that we're here for tonight to talk about allows this conditional use is, unfortunately, the IL, or limited industrial zone. The county's comprehensive plan, the future land use map, shows the property to obviously be in a low-density residential area. And while certainly one could argue that an IL zone property in a rural area outside the growth zone is not desirable, it is the only zone that will allow such a use, and certainly a motocross track should be in a rural and lesser populated area away from higher density residential and commercial industrial areas. More than likely, if one could find an IL zone property to be placed, or that a track could be placed upon in the growth zone, it would be more likely in a less desirable area than the present location, and most likely on an unaffordable property. The current owner of the property finds themselves pretty much in a dilemma, having bought and invested in the property, and having purchased it wherein the track's been operated for over 16 years, unaware that it was not an approved use. Now, admittedly, there was no mistake made in the zoning map. It's a AR zone out in that area. It's a rural area, but I submit to you that perhaps the conditional use for the racetrack does not belong in the IL zone. It would be predominantly located in the growth zone in higher density areas where one would not look to place such a use. I know that's a moot point at this time. However, while the rezoning of the property IL would allow the potential for a number of non-compatible industrial land uses on the property, I assure you that the owner has no intention of entertaining those uses. Furthermore, going through the plus process, the state has indicated they have no plans to invest in infrastructure, upgrades, or additional services in this area. That being said, the likelihood of anyone developing this property as an industrial use would be minimal, if non-existent. I also want to point out that the property, and you've probably seen the site plan that we prepared for this, it's located substantially in an area that's impacted by the 100-year floodplain and also is impacted by wetlands, and has poor draining soils not conducive to larger septic systems, all of which would prohibit the development of the property with industrial uses. Furthermore, an industrial use would require the upgrading of the local roadways and transportation infrastructure, making the development of the property for industrial use cost prohibitive. And again, although the IL zone may allow for other industrial uses, the likelihood of those occurring on this property because of the above, if it were rezoned, would be minimal, if not zero. Since this track has been in operation, it's my understanding there have been no complaints issued regarding its use except for one recent complaint. County can correct me on that if they need to, but that's from what I understand, what I've heard. I also understand that there may be nearby residents that are here tonight that support the track and the proposed rezoning, and you may hear from them later in this public hearing. With all the above taken into consideration, I feel that there is no substantial downside to rezoning this property to allow for the track to continue their operation. The impact to the surrounding area, well, I feel there would be little to none, and the ability to develop this property with something other than what it is being used for now would be unlikely due to the physical constraints of the property and the lack of infrastructure to serve the property. Having gone through the plus process, we're aware of their comments and have no doubts that we can comply with their comments and conform to the requirements. We also believe that we can meet the county zoning regulations to allow this use to continue with its present use. I feel that the state and the county desperately need something like this to support the motocross sport and those that love this type of recreation. It's an area that would be unbothersome to people, and we respectfully request that you consider recommending the property to be rezoned to IL, light industrial, so that our client can move forward with a conditional use site plan. With that, I will take any questions you have. If not, I will turn it over to the owner's representative, Zach Kaplowski, that's here tonight to speak.
You do realize, Mr. Scott, that their staff has recommended denial and the recommendations under which they have done it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'm going to open it up to the other commissioners. Mr. Davis?
Yeah, good question. Good question.
I really have a question for staff, if I may. Should this be approved with that classification IL, and they decide to sell it, the classification stays with it, as I understand. Are there not a lot of different things could go in that thing because of the IL classification, for example, a junkyard, things of that nature? Is it similar to the GB zoning where there's like 125 things could go there? Or am I off track on that?
There are definitely a number of uses that could go there, yes. A junkyard is not among them. IL is the limited industrial zone. So it tends to be less intensive industrial uses. So don't think smokestacks, but maybe industrial parks, things of that nature. But yes, there's a long list of industrial uses that could go there if it is rezoned.
So I understand you say that should they sell it, the potential is there to have someone with other industrial things and other industrial issues, but not as great as maybe the large industrial park or something like that. Is that correct?
It would not be a heavy industrial use, right? It wouldn't be smokestacks, but definitely there are a number of industrial type uses that could go there. It's true with any zoning.
Okay, thank you.
I think I have a question on the phone, Mark.
Yes, I have a question. Do you hear me?
Yes, you can go ahead, Mr. Mills. Mr. Mills, I think you may have muted yourself.
Okay, my question is, if this is approved IL, how are the facilities going to be handled as far as storage and water and this type of thing if the county has no plans to ever run county sewer there? Or what, how is the storage being handled now with the public on site there? When the public, when the public's on site, how is that being handled? And how would it be handled if it were in IL zoning? And what would the requirements be in IL zoning if for storage?
I can speak to that.
Yeah, Mr. Scott, go ahead.
Right now, the only thing that's on the property that has sewer is the residence that's there. And, the site constraints right now and the soil type and the floodplain and wetlands wouldn't allow the expansion of a larger septic system on this property. So you couldn't put any business, if you look at the ones that are allowed under the IL zone, if somebody put there that would have any number of employees or water needs or sewer needs, it just wouldn't work on this property. It would be prohibitive. That's why rezoning this to IL isn't going to really allow any other industrial use on there, or very few, and if they are, they're going to have to be really small and have very little impact.
Mr. Mills, does that answer your question?
Well, partially, but when they're having these races and the public is there, how is the public being handled as far as the storage systems?
Oh, okay. I forgot to address that.
What accommodations do they have for the public?
Yeah, they're only having a couple races a year, and those at that time they bring in the porta-johns. They're rented and they're there for just that event, and then they're gone.
Oh, okay. That answers my question then.
Is that all you got, Mr. Mills?
Thank you. Yes.
Is there any other commissioners on the phone that have any questions for this individual? Anybody else up here have any questions? If not, Mr. Scott, we thank you. Okay. Great presentation as always.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to ask if there's anybody else here for that And I would ask that if you're a member of a group, that you would have a spokesman. I don't mind the individuals, but I just don't want everybody saying the same thing. We need to know. Can I ask how many is here and for this application? Raise your hand. Okay, I understand there's a large number of you. I assume that some of you are groups or something, and maybe you could have a spokesman. That would certainly work out better. We try to move it along. We always hear the same thing over and over. So who is next to come up to the mic to speak in favor of this application? Please give your name, your representation, and your address.
Hello, I am Zach Klaptowski. I am at 696 Statenville Road, Snake Creek.
Sir, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sure, yeah.
Proceed.
I have been coming to Snake Creek since about 2009, and I kind of really never left. It's kind of became a home to me ever since I was young, and it always gave me a place to go and a place to ride, and it was a safe place for me, all my friends, and everyone to come ride. And I do understand there are some closed houses, and I have one of the neighbors on the phone with me as well, John Shepard, and I have some of the neighbors in the crowd as well. I know it can get noisy. I know, it's obviously not the most quiet thing in the world. We ride on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to about 4. And I know there has been some concerns with hunting going on and all that. We are closed the first 2 weeks of shotgun season to help, with the hunting concerns, and we shorten the hours in the winter to accommodate hunting as well. I have no want or desire to do anything other than ride my dirt bike here. I just want to be able to have a place where I can have my friends over, where I can have people over to enjoy the sport. It gives everyone something to do in the community. It's, very athletic type of thing. Most of the people that come there are very, very, strict with their training, and they come and they very focused on this. And you really put a lot into motocross, and there's not many spots at all left in Delaware that you can do this. Like I said, we have no interest in doing any other type of industrial use or anything like that. I just want to continue to do what we are doing now. That's pretty much, besides having a few races every year. Probably I would like to have like 3 or 4 events per year. With that, each event we do a fundraiser for a local charity. We did our first little event in March, and we raised, I believe it was like $1,500 for the Harrington Fire Department. We also did another little fundraising event for a local family who they suffered a loss, and we donated $2,500 to them. We're also doing an event for the Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition, and we're going to do hopefully more than what we've done in the past and try and give back. I like to say we have a good impact on the community as we bring into the local gas stations with Rocky down the street, and in Farmington we bring a lot of business and gas sales and just food sales through that. And I'm trying to give back to the community and make everyone involved in this, and I know there is going to be opposition to this in any form because it is one thing, it is noisy. Another complaint is it could be dusty. We have a full irrigation system to take care of all the dust. I've heard there is some concerns about erosion and all that stuff with the tax ditch and all that there. Since then, I've put up some silt sock and done that to help, to not have any environmental impact outside of our property. I try and keep as much water on the property as I can. I don't want any water going off. I don't want any dirt going off. The dirt is expensive to replace, and I don't have money for that at this point. I'm trying to keep all the water in so we can use the water that's on the property to keep the track wet. And if there's anything I can do for anyone, I'm willing to at least try and come up with some sort of agreement. And, you know, I'm pretty easy to deal with, and I would like to compromise with everyone so we all can, you know, continue to do exactly what we've been doing for the past 15 or 16 years. If John would like to say anything, I can try and hold you up to the mic, John.
We like to have people, I don't know if we take testimony on the phone, do we, Sheriff?
Yeah, he tried to call in. He said he was struggling to call in, so I just told him I'd FaceTime him. If that
Can I ask a question of you?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
represent the owners?
Yes, I live there, and I try to represent Vinny to the best of my ability.
Do you represent also a group of motorcyclists that race there? I mean, do you have a group name or anything like that?
A group name, Snake Creek. I represent Snake Creek MX, and
How large is your organization?
We generally have about, on average per weekend, we have 25 to 30 riders per day. I would like to have obviously a few more so we could continue to like grow and invest back into ourselves with, you know, newer equipment and all of that, as that is pretty expensive just to upgrade of our equipment. So, I mean, outside of having money to do anything besides ride motocross and keep our equipment running, I would like to just stay what we are. I don't want to get any much bigger besides, you know, having a couple events a year.
I will ask our attorney, can we take it off his phone as testimony, or should we have him to try to continue to call in, Craig?
I believe we can take testimony over the telephone based upon emergency public hearing protocols that are in place now.
Okay, if you can put it on speakerphone.
All right. Yeah,
And you get him to give his name and address, and our attorney once again will swear him in.
Okay. Hey, John, whenever you're ready.
Can everybody hear me?
Mostly.
Can everybody hear?
Yes.
Okay. So again,
I got to have his name and his address.
We're going to need your name and address, and then they'll just swear you in.
Yep. So it's Richard John Shepard Jr., and I'm representing 891 Statenville Road and 873 Statenville Road, Harrington, Delaware, Holly Glen Farm across the road.
John, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Will you also spell your last name, please?
Shepard.
Thank you.
He can go ahead with his presentation or his comments.
So I appreciate Zach FaceTiming me. I tried to call in the number on the flyer, and it said I was the only caller. So I apologize for that. I couldn't get through that way. And Zach, so to give some background, that track, it came off of what was my family's farm. It was a number of years ago. It was my grandfather's, left to my mother, who then left some to her nephew. And then the short of the story is the track got expanded past the 8 acres that my cousin owned at the time. And that's the only reason that my mother gave the additional ground, because the track got built over on them. Now, that's not Zach and Vinny's problem or their fault, but she was scared of the liability of having that there. So my whole take on it is, I'm not going to lie, and I've had this conversation with Zach. Zach's a good guy. He's trying to do good things. I've met Vinny twice. Seems like a good guy. I'll be honest. I've lived on that farm 48 years. I don't like hearing that motorcycle ride. I don't like to hear the noise, but it is what it is on the weekends. But I think in all fairness, it does go past 5 o'clock. And that's been an issue as far as I'm concerned. The other thing is the traffic, and we're the next driveway past Zach, and Zach and I have had this conversation as well, where there's so many of them come up, they actually drive, some of them drive through my yard, turn around, and that's not Zach's fault, but it just comes with the extra people. So my concern, again, I hate to tell anyone what to do with their property. I believe in property rights and landowner rights. I do. But I am an agriculture guy. I work for the Maryland Department of Agriculture. I live, sleep, and breathe agriculture. And I really don't say I'm opposed to them having a few events or whatever, but I am not in favor of changing the zoning on agricultural and residential property that adjoins my property. I mean, that's just, that's where I'm at with it.
I thank you very much for your comments. They were very important. I think Commissioner Davis has something for the gentleman at the podium, though.
For me?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Make sure I'm correct. There's the farm he's referring to is 16.8 acres in total. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I noticed that over on Woodward Road, there is a group of 10 chicken houses there. And as you go up the other part, I notice, I can't see it on this map because it's not there, but I see the beginning of more chicken houses. That kind of concerns me. When you raise chickens, they don't need a lot of noise. So I don't know whether if they got the fryers or what they got, but I know if they have baby chickens in there, they can smother with a bunch of noise close by. So I have a big concern about that. Have you had any conversation with the owner of those chicken houses to what effect it have on his operation?
I have not. It's never really honestly been a concern of mine, and I can barely hear the fans from the chicken houses at night. I don't really think they can hear me as I don't think it's not even, it's just a background noise to them that far away. I have a couple neighbors closer, obviously. They may be in opposition or in favor. If they would like to speak on that and on behalf of the noise, because obviously I am causing the noise, so I would be obviously on the wrong side of that conversation. So I don't think it would be a huge impact on the chicken houses or any of that. I do have a decibel reader, and I can take some decibel readings from around, as I've dealt with that in one of my past tracks in Pennsylvania from where I've lived with. But as far as, as noise, I can't really speak on behalf of that because I am obviously the one causing the noise, so that's not going to be fair for anyone else in this room. So if anyone else would like to speak on it, I would like to hear what you have, whether it's good or bad.
All right, you answered that part. I think I just heard the other gentleman on the phone call talked about people going through people's yards and all the noise. Now, I don't think you're qualified to say what a chicken can hear, and neither can I. But I know that farmers have a big investment there per chicken house. And I'm a little surprised because and I think you've said in your statement that it does get a little noisy. I think I recall you saying that was the very first thing you said when you started talking. It is a little bit noisy. As a courtesy, I would think that you'd be talking to the farmer who has a big investment there about how do you feel about this with all this noise. Let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
Looks to me like they're brand new chicken houses. I don't know what those chicken houses cost today, but I know one time there's $200,000 per house. And I'm a little concerned about, I like people to do bike racing. I think that's a great thing. I think some of your points about there's no place to go, this is a good spot, that's all true. But I got to look at it realistically. What is the effect on somebody that's close to that property? And it's within range. you're going to have people coming to your race, all souped up and psyched up because they won the race, or they're excited because they enjoy it, which is wonderful. When they leave that race, they're going to buzz up that road, and there's that man that's got all them baby chickens raising all that money down there trying to pay for his place. And I don't know how many people you have come to your race. You got 20, 25 motorcycles coming through there. That's pretty damaging to that farmer. And I think you better take a closer look at that one. Now let me finish. I got the floor. You can talk all you want and get done, okay? I'm very concerned about that. I think your sport's a great sport. I think there's a need for it. I enjoy racing too. But as a commissioner, I got to look at the big picture and not just your picture, okay? So thank you now. Go ahead and say anything you want to say.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Any other commissioners have any questions for this individual? If not,
I have a
thank you for your comments. Excuse me? I got a phone call. Okay, who is it?
I have a question. Delbert Mills.
We can hear you,
Can
Mr.
you hear me?
Mills. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, the question I have is you made mention that was 2 or 3 functions that you have, then you turn around and say it was every weekend that there was racing going on. Now, is this every weekend throughout the year, or is it 3 or 4 different functions during the year?
Can I answer that?
You're there representing.
It would be 3 or 4 races every year, and we normally are open almost every weekend. We would like to, with having the events, it would be able to have us be closed on a weekend or two to give me a break and the staff a break, because a lot goes into it. And as far as, can I answer on what you were saying as well? As far as, having people turn around in his driveway and the impact, we're not riding motorcycles to and from the track. We're driving cars, trucks. I do understand, people do get revved up when they leave, and John across the street, Danny across the street, the other neighbors. I tell people when they leave, hey, drive like you live here. Like, you got to make noise all day. You got to have fun all day. You got it out here at the track. Once you leave the driveway, just drive calm, drive safe, do the speed limit. Don't throw trash out the window. Just drive like you live there. Because I do make it known that we do have neighbors. We do have neighbors that live there, and I can't say I want to hear the noise all the time either. And I do my best to go out when I run every morning. On trash day, I pick up all the trash and throw it in the nearest trash can as I run down the road. I normally run one way one day and one way the other day, and I do my best to take care of trash. And if anyone is driving out of hand, they will be, they won't come back, because it's not worth me losing my investment and my time into what I have done here. And I've also told any of the other neighbors, if you see anyone driving like this, you have any issues, just please come tell me. Drive down the driveway. I'm there normally 8 days a week. So if anyone has a concern, I'm completely open to someone just coming and talking to me. I'm very willing to work with everyone that I can.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We appreciate all that. And so your answer to Mr. Mills is you're going to be operating 50 weekends out of the year? You said a couple weeks off. So 50 weekends out of the year, there's going to be motorcycles running between 10 and 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. Is that your answer? I never heard a clear answer.
No. As of now, we don't have a set schedule as we're trying to go through this process. But if this process goes through, I would like to set up a schedule, and if anyone would like to have any input on the schedule, I would be willing.
We will need to know a schedule to get through this project.
Okay. Well,
and we'll need to know the times to get through this project.
Okay.
We need to know that beforehand, Am I not correct, Sarah, or not?
This is just the rezoning. It's not the conditional use application. This is not about land development. It's just a rezoning.
Will he be coming back as far as times of use?
If the rezoning is successful, he'll be back.
So if the rezoning is successful, he'll have to come back with a plan showing us everything that's going to be going on there with times and weekends. My mistake. Thank you for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else here that would like to speak in for this application? Please come to the microphone. Give us your name and address, and you can be either sworn or affirmed.
My name is David Hassel. I live at 22324 Coyote Road, Seaford, Delaware.
Sir, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I'm a racer of 46 years. Currently, there are no other facilities in Delmarva. The other facilities that were brought up, Blue Diamond and Seaford, are closed. Seaford has been changed over to a car racing facility. There's currently 3 car racing facilities on Delmarva. There are no motorcycle racing facilities. The motorcycle racers and their families have to drive 2.5 to 4 hours to race a motorcycle from this area. Okay? I've retired a couple years ago. I work out at the track for free, donate my time, 3 to 4 days a week to make this a safe and good place for the families to go. We help the kids. It's just a great place for these guys to get away and go to. The chicken farm that's mentioned there is currently about 3,000 feet, 0.6 of a mile away, with very, very dense woods in between there. I have been on Woodward Road by the chicken farm because that's how I go home, and I do not hear motorcycles on Woodward Road where that chicken farm is at. So I'm on that road 5 days a week. I'm there on weekends, and I'm there 3 to 4 days during the week. Right now, like I said, there at one time there was 4 to 5 facilities on Delmarva for people to ride, and currently there's only the one. This is why they're going through the process. It's a great family sport. Just like the kids enjoy their soccer and their baseball, which some of the families here have kids that do that. On most days, they'd rather go ride their motorcycle, and this is the only place that they can go. Okay?
Thank you very much.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any of the commissioners have any questions for this individual? Anybody on the phone?
No.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. Is there anybody else here who'd like to speak in favor of this application? Please come to the microphone. I'll have you next, sir, in the back with the hat.
My name is Justin Connessy, 7005 Shawnee Road, Milford, Delaware.
Sir, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I'm a small business owner in Kent County as well, and the amount of people that this has the potential to attract is positive for the community. The people come, they eat, they do things. It won't personally impact my business per se.
Mr. Connessy, can you pull the microphone up a little closer, please?
Sorry about that. Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little higher this time than it was the last speaker, so thank you very much.
So, but by bringing people into the community, it'll help tourism. People come currently from further away than just Delmarva, and there's New Jersey tags from time to time, things of that nature. And those people spend money when they come to Kent County. I've directed people to other small businesses and restaurants, things of that nature. Also, it has the potential for the recreational vehicle areas in the county, some of which are state parks, things of that nature, for them to be able to come in, camp, then have something to do when they get here, actually. So all in all, it attracts people to Kent County, Delaware, as compared to having nothing to do. So, and the times that they're riding, that's not a true race, is more of like a practice time. So it's less people than the full-blown race.
Thank you, Mr. Connessy.
Yes.
Appreciate your comments. Any of the commissioners have any questions for this individual? Thank you very much. The gentleman in the back with the hat, I think, got up next.
My name is Mac Days, and I live at 230 Statenville Road, Harrington, Delaware.
Sir, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Proceed.
I have no problem with this proposition.
Sir, you'll have to stay close to the microphone, please.
The property, she scrapped this property, I guess west of the track. We own that property. And I've been there for almost 40-something years, right? And John Shepherd and our families have been great families, right? My whole life, right? I met Zach, nice young man. I knew the prior owner, and we've always got together, got along together. And as far as the traffic, them cars come by my house every time they come in and go out. I've never seen nobody exhibition of speed. They're always driving slow, can't cut grass, and they're always paying strict attention to what's going on, right? So as far as trash, Jack does run up and down the road, and I've seen him picking up trash and stuff like this, right? But I'm not sure that's from his drivers, right? But as far as the IL zoning, I have nothing to do with that. I just think it's a good thing for the community, and that I'm in full cooperation with that.
Well, we thank you, sir, for coming up. Any commissioners have any questions for this individual? Anyone on the phone? Seeing none, I thank you again for your presentation. Gentleman back there with his hand up, please come to the phone to speak in favor of this application.
My name is Michael Schock. I live at 21 Wilder Road, Dover.
Mr. Schock, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
In 1988, the YMCA of Delaware, Dover branch, asked me to run a motorcycle program called NIPM, National Youth Project Using Mini Bikes. It was sponsored by Honda. It was a good behavior program, and Snake Creek was the first track that I ever started going to. The owners, the original owners, Don and Angie Falcone, allowed us to come down there, and the way this program worked was that Honda donated the bikes to the program. The kids from around the elementary schools and the middle schools signed good behavior contracts with me, and if they met their contract on the weekends, during the week, I took them riding every Saturday. I've been going down to Snake Creek for over 30 years. I know the gentleman over there said that, it's been 16 years. I can tell you I've been going there for over 30 years, and I know the track was before that. Every time I come down through there, you can never hear the motorcycles running from those chicken houses or any of the surrounding areas. I can only tell you that my son started riding there when he was 3 years old, and he's a professional motocrosser now with a national 2-digit number, the only one in Delaware. That track has made so many great riders. We have friends coming from New Jersey, Connecticut, PA, New York, all over the place because it's such a family atmosphere down there. Everyone gets along. We have a great time riding. And like the gentleman before me said, I have never seen anybody ripping up that road after they leave that place. As far as the gentleman with the yard said he was riding through their yard, there's a tax ditch the entire way down that road, Statenville Road. And they must be turning around in his driveway because there's no way to get into somebody's yard off the roadway. I know that the new owner has put a lot of time and money, and Zach also, and I think this would be a good change. And like the one gentleman over there said, it is a practice track. And I can honestly tell you that the most people we've ever had at the track over the years has been about 80 on a weekend. Most of the time, it's between 15 and 30 people over the weekend, and they're all, knowledgeable, and, I don't see any trash going out the windows or anything else while we're there. Like I said, I've been going there for over 30 years.
We certainly thank you for your comments. I will now ask, is any commissioners here or on the phone have any questions for this gentleman? Seeing none, I thank you again, sir, for the
Thank you.
presentation. Is there somebody else here that wants to speak for this? Gentleman's coming down now, and I'll get you, young lady, as the next spokesman. Sir, give us your name and your address, and you can be sworn or affirmed.
John Allen, 1094 Statenville Road, that little square box in the corner, right
Sir,
there.
Sir, do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
I moved up there in 2011. I met Zach.
Sir, you'll have to keep next to the microphone so we can hear you.
Sorry, I met Zach when he moved there. I have no objection to what goes on there. Last year, I got to see a young child for the first time, got a mini bike for Christmas. He drove all the way from somewhere in Maryland. They broke down. So Zach had a few people parked on the driveway. They came up to my property and he says, there's nowhere to park. I said, you park your vehicle here and let that child go learn how to ride that bike. This is the kind of things that our children need, and not video games and things like that. So I've been there since 2011. I wish Zach well. I have no objection to what he's doing. He's very considerate during holidays, Mother's Day, Easter, things like that. There's no track riding. He's very considerate about the neighbors. So that's all I have to say about it.
Thank you for your presentation. I will ask, does any commissioners have any questions for this individual, either on the phone or up front here? Seeing none, I thank you once again, sir. Young lady, if you'll come up and give us your name and address, you can be either sworn or affirmed.
Hello, I'm Amy Beam. My address is 26876 Round Pole Bridge Road, Milton, Delaware.
You swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Proceed.
Thank you. So I do not ride dirt bikes myself, although I imagine if we keep this up, I might start. No, I don't know. But I'm here with my family tonight, and my boys do ride, and for quite some time, they would ride around our little 3/4 acre lot around and around and around our house because we had nowhere to go. And so after a little bit, we started searching like, okay, we need to get a little bigger here. This isn't going to work, and our neighbors are not going to like us very much. So we started searching, and I found Snake Creek. And I said to my husband, did you even know this place existed? And we didn't. So back last January, we jumped in the truck, and we took a ride out to check it out. And we had no idea it was even there, but we were so excited and surprised. And since then, we have gone as many days as we possibly can. My boys are some of the ones that also play soccer and baseball and lacrosse, and so we're busy, but if I gave them the choice, they would give all of that up because they love going there. It is a very family-friendly environment. The people there are very respectful. The owners are very respectful. We have met some wonderful families there. They certainly come from all over. They do, as other people have said, drive for hours to come to this track, and they are putting money into local businesses, not just the gas stations and the food, because I can vouch. We are supporting other local businesses that sell, parts for the dirt bikes and things like that. We are always at different stores because the bikes always need parts and pieces, and so there's a lot of money pouring into local businesses for this purpose. In regards to the speed on the road, I just wanted to add a comment to what's already been said. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to drive down that section of road in a while, but it is very, very bumpy. And I will tell you that the people going to and from that track who have dirt bikes in the back of their trucks or trailers that are worth $5,000 or $10,000 a piece are not speeding down that road because they do not want to damage those bikes by jostling them or having them tip over. So they are very, very careful with their equipment. So I just wanted to add that in there. So in the times, especially in the past year and a half when we've all been looking for a place to get outside and to do something together, this has been a wonderful opportunity for myself and my family to get out and to meet new people and to support this local business. And as you heard, this plot of land is very unsuitable for many other purposes, and it's been there for so very long. It seems reasonable to support it and to let it continue to exist as it has. And like they said, there are no other plans for this piece of property, and they're doing everything they can to make sure they're following whatever rules are set forth. And I just want to say that my family and I fully support it.
I certainly thank you for your comments. While you're right there, I'll ask you if any commissioners here or on the phone have any questions. If not, once again, very good job.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else here who'd like to speak in favor of this project? Sir, one with a hand up. If there's some of you here that were going to speak in favor of this project, and like I asked earlier, did not come to the microphone, I'd like to see a raising of your hands when we're done with the 4 applications so it can go on the record exactly how many people were here for the application. Right now, we'll go over here to the microphone. Sir, give us your name and your address, please.
Ryan Wheatley of 237 Tinsley Court, Newark, Delaware.
Mr. Wheatley, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Thank you.
I am a board member of Delaware Valley Trail Riders. We're a Pennsylvania centrally located group, although I live in Delaware and have for most of my life, along with Maryland. Growing up in the mid-thousands, I was able to ride in Delaware at a track every weekend with my family, and it was a great experience. Sadly, those tracks have closed over time. I was living next to Blue Diamond previously, which was great, being able to ride there all the time, going to Snake Creek, to Seaford. This is the only opportunity left to legally ride a dirt bike in Delaware or any off-highway vehicle. And it would be a shame to see that end. I've been having to drive 2.5 to 5 hours to ride or compete in primarily Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York for the last 5 to 7 years until they've seemed to take over Snake Creek and revive it. And I think it would be a shame if that went away.
I certainly thank you for your comments. Any commissioners have any questions for this individual, either on the phone or up front? Thanks again, and I appreciate the long trip that you made here to make your comments. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in favor? Sir, I think I have to see your hand up over here. Come to the microphone.
Chris Coviello, 4007 Montana Road, Wilmington, Delaware, 19807.
Sir, do you swear or affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Proceed.
I just wanted to say I support the track. I think it's cool for the kids and the parents to kind of do something together. I own a local business at 89 Hunting Quarter Road in Houston, is a campground, and people talk about it all the time that they want to come in and camp there, and they want to go ride at their track. So I think it's a good thing for the kids to do something with their parents and with their fathers, and instead of playing a video game and doing all that stuff. So I support Zach in his endeavors with Snake Creek.
Thank you, sir. Any commissioners have any questions for this individual? Once again, thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here who'd like to come to the mic? If not, can I see a hands of the ones that supported that didn't come to the mic? Let the record show there was 9 additional individuals that didn't come to the mic but do support the project. I will ask one last time, anybody else here for the project and would like to come to the mic? If not, we'll go over to the other side, the against. Is there anybody here against this project and would like to come to the mic? The gentleman with the paper up had his hand up first.
Hello, my name's Matt Faint. I live at 4330 Big Stone Beach Road, Milford. Any better?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, do you swear or affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. I own the property just south of this bike track. I own 175 acres. If you look south, you can kind of see the 2 clearings that are there in the center. That's just the northern part of my property. I own much further down below than what the picture actually allows. Like I said, my property is approximately 175 acres. It's kind of a long property. Today on Google Maps, I took a measurement from essentially their property line to my furthest property edge, the furthest I could get away from it. all right? And that was 4,100 feet. That's almost 3/4 of a mile, or actually just a hair over 3/4 of a mile. I bought my property for my enjoyment, for my children's enjoyment. I can appreciate everybody's enjoyment, with things they want to bring for their children and stuff, activities to do. But I bought my property because I love to hunt. I love the outdoors. I enjoy being outside with nature. And I have devoted my last 9 years to my property and creating it into my perfect place, okay? When I bought my property, the track was there. The people that owned it, they were running intermittently. It wasn't an every weekend thing. They generally did not run during the wintertime, during hunting season. And the early parts of hunting season, when they did run, they would close down early in the evening before it got too late as far as messing up my hunting. When the current owners purchased it roughly a year ago, it had been shut down for, I believe, around 2.5 years. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was probably the best 2.5 years I had on my property, okay? It was quiet. It was enjoyable. The wildlife had come back so much to where, it probably should have been. When they say that they're only having 3 or 4 events a year, that may be true. They may only have 3 or 4, race events a year, but they are running pretty much every single weekend. If you go onto Facebook and there's stuff that they put on, they are constantly posting, inviting people down. They are running nonstop every weekend. Every long weekend, there starts on Fridays. They run Friday, Saturday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, all this stuff. It never ends. Now, I bought my property for my enjoyment with the long-term plans of building a house over there, and that's where I want to spend my life as I get older. What they're doing is taking away from my ability to enjoy my property for what I bought it for. I'm not one to generally tell other people what they can and can't do with their property. It's their property. I understand all that stuff. But when what they're doing affects what I'm doing on my property adversely, I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's fair. Unfortunately for the people that bought the property, they didn't do the research into what was allowed on the property. I understand this stuff has been here a long time, but they failed to research this and look into all the requirement that needed to be done, that should have been done, that has never been there, okay? This thing, I understand it's been there a long time, but it has never legitimately been allowed to be there. It has just been there over the years, and it's just let go and let go and let go. It's not fair, like I said, for me and my family to not be able to enjoy our property, okay? I understand their comments about wanting to be able to have a needing place in Delaware to ride and all that stuff, and that's fine. And so many of the people here that have stood up and said that we think this is a great idea, that's fine and dandy, but do you want to live in your backyard and have to sit there on a Saturday afternoon when you're trying to enjoy your time with your family and listen to 30 motorcycles riding up down a track? I mean, it's just not, it's not right. And I started to tell you, from the furthest point from my property there, I said 3/4 of a mile. I stood back there the other day when they were riding, and that's all I can hear, okay? It's not a faint sound. It is a very distinguished sound that's all you hear, and that's all you think about when you're back there and you're listening to that. That's the furthest point that I can get away. I have places that I hunt that are literally hundreds of feet from their property line. It is so loud that I cannot hear myself. I can't talk to my wife sitting in a deer stand right next to me. That's how loud it gets, okay? The whole use with the changing the zoning, it just opens too many doors for down the road of what could happen. I'm strongly against this. I don't think it should be there. The report that I read from the county, I agree with everything that they put in there as far as why it should be denied. It makes perfect sense. Like I said, the noise is my biggest problem with all of it, but there's also erosion issues and stuff like that. The Nanticoke tax ditch runs through the middle. We've had all kinds of erosion issues already. I can tell you, these guys are talking about grooming the track and doing all the things, and they have water on the track. When that tax ditch, that water flows through there year round. It never stops. It's not a stagnant ditch or anything like that. The water is generally crystal clear other than after a storm, okay, or something like that. When those guys are running, an hour previous to them running, I can look at that ditch and it's crystal clear. An hour after they're running, that ditch is cloudy. So they have runoff and stuff that's going into the ditch. There's all kinds of things that go along with that. It's just not a good situation. And the zoning thing, like I said, is just not going to work. I have pictures. It's not a problem. I have pictures. So I have pictures.
Excuse me, sir. We're not going to call back and forth. You're up there to just make your presentation. And I do ask for quiet over here, or we'll have to ask you to leave, okay?
And I would also invite any one of you to come to my property and listen when they're having one of their practices, and listen to it. And maybe then you would understand even more at that point. So,
well, we thank you for your presentation. We appreciate you coming to the mic. I am going to ask the commissioners up front or anybody on the phone have any questions for this individual. Once again, I thank you for you taking your time to come to the microphone. The next gentleman down in front here, I think, had his hand up next.
My name is Daniel Wall. I live at 637 Statonsville Road, the triangular piece of property where the yellow line meets the road right there.
Mr. Wall, excuse me. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you.
Well, I went down to the corner of my property and I saw a sign over there, and I went over there to see what it said. And when I saw it said industrial, I couldn't believe what I was reading. This is about as far from an industrial area as you're going to get. As a matter of fact, it'd been in my family. My name was on 8 acres of that property for 25 years till I signed it over to my dad, and he passed away, and then his wife sold it to the current owner. So 65 years ago, my great-grandfather bought 200 acres here so he could retire and get away from the hustle and bustle and industry of Newcastle County. And that's what this place originally was for our family. And then my dad built this motocross track, and I was against it then, and I'm against it now. All right, I lost my train of thought here. Like I said, this is about as far from an industrial area as you're going to get. And I think having an industrial zoning on it is just unheard of. I sit on my porch. I work 5 days a week. I get to and try to get into enjoy Saturday and Sunday. I sit on my porch, have a cup of coffee. All you hear is the motorcycles. You know, it's been there a while. We deal with it, you know, but it's not by far. If I had my choice, you know, no. But as far as zoning it and the industrial zoning, no, I'm 100% against that for numerous reasons. And basically, it's almost obvious to me that it shouldn't be zoned industrial. You know, it's not an industrial area. If you want an industrial area, there's plenty of places for that, but not on Statonsville Road. And everybody says, oh, it brings in tourists and this and that. Well, Statonsville Road is not a tourist attraction. It's not an amusement park. It's not a fun house. It's where my family's lived and tried to have a peace, quiet country setting for 65 years. And I'm not going to stand by and let it be turned into an amusement park or a fun house. You know, and I'm nothing personally against Zach. And the owner doesn't even live there. The owner lives in New York. So he doesn't have to, you know, get up Saturday morning and hear the motorcycles, you know, while he's trying to have a cup of coffee. You know, the only people that have so far, the only neighbors, it is not too many people around, but every neighbor that's around there has been against this because of the noise. Not, you know, people that live in Wilmington don't hear the noise. People that live in Magnolia don't hear the noise. You know, people that live 1, 2, 3, they hear the noise. My neighbor down the street, he's not here. Just talk, well, that's hearsay, but anyhow. But the 3 that you've heard from today that surround this place have all said that the noise is an issue. And it's not, like I said, it is what it is now, but as far as the zoning goes, no, that's absolutely, you know, I'm 100% against that. And like I said, I think it's fairly obvious why. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. I will ask the commissioners, anybody here or on the phone, have any questions for this individual? If not, once again, sir, I thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else here who'd like to speak against this project? I think I see a gentleman over here with the mask on. Of course, we all have masks on. What am I talking about?
My name is, excuse me, my name's Charlie Trivets, and my address is 11037 Coondead Road.
Mr. Trivets, do you swear or affirm, sir, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I live on Coon Road, as I said. It's just about a mile, almost exactly a mile as a crow flies from the track. And I can tell you, for me, it's a noise thing. I can sit out on my back porch any Saturday and Sunday, and all you hear is motorcycles. Altogether, I own about 145 acres. And just east of the track, right on Statenville Road, I got a farm that I purchased 20 years ago. And I bought it for, just like Matt with his family, I bought it for my sons and my grandsons and my kin to, hunt there and enjoy the outdoors. And that's what we do with it. It's only about half a mile from there. And I'll tell you, when you're sitting in a deer stand, we do a lot of bow hunting, and that's all you hear is motorcycles. So it is a noise thing. And this is a tough thing for me because I don't like to be the guy that's telling somebody what they can do with their land, because I don't want somebody doing that with me. And I was hesitant to come here, but I think this is important. Back in the late 70s, many years ago and many pounds ago, I was a motocross racer. And I enjoy motocross. It's a great sport. I understand what they're doing. But back then, I didn't own property. And when you don't own property, you don't understand the importance of quiet and being out there by yourselves and your family. So that's the main thing for me. Now, one thing I was surprised when Zach had John Shepard on the phone. John and I are good friends. I talked to him today, in fact. He has the horse farm right across the road there. And he raises horses and trains horses there. And I know the noise is a huge thing for him with his horse farm. I'm really surprised he didn't mention that today. I guess he just had so much on his mind. He's out of state right now for work. But I know the noise bothers him tremendously. And like I said, my house is a mile away, and I can hear it every day they do it. And I don't want to be, again, I don't want to be the person that tells somebody they can't race or ride motorcycles on the property. I don't want to do that. But I'm totally against rezoning it industrial.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your comments. Anybody at the commissioners up here or on the phone have any questions? Seeing none, once again, I thank you. Anybody else here like to speak in opposition of this project? I see a hand back at the podium. Come right on front and give your name.
Good evening. My name is Eli Schrock. I live at 724 Coon Den Road.
Sir, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Proceed.
The zoning issue is my key. I can't see it ever turned into light industrial or anything industrial, even commercial. But you guys, the zoning board, has put different zone classifications in place for a reason. And that's why there is an issue now, because it is not zoned properly to do what they're doing with it, even though they've done it a long time. I'm like some other people. I don't like to tell people what to do with their land, because I like to do what I want to do with my land. We have a farm by 200 acres that's on Coon Den Road out to 36, or not quite to 36, but so anyhow, and we join up to Matt Fink's property. But my point is this: the zoning board has put these regulations into place because there are settings that things are in place for, and there's places that they're okay and there's some that they're not. This zoning opens Pandora's box to this property, and I don't begrudge anybody riding motorcycles on any place that they own. But to rezone this property and open that up, because I can only see it with the zoning change getting more dramatic. I can hear them from my property. I tone it out. I live with it. I never complained about it. Again, I don't like to tell people what to do with their property. So my viewpoint is, if it's within the regulations of what it's currently zoned for, I'm not going to tell you what to do with it. But I cannot support rezoning it to make it even more dramatic than what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Schrock. Will any commissioners have any questions for this individual, either on the phone or up front? Once again, I thank you, sir, for your presentation. In the back, gentlemen, come up and give your name. and your address.
Bob Walls, 2645 Milford Harrington Highway, Milford, Delaware.
Representative Walls, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole
We've,
truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do. The issue here, I think, and as far as Mr. Feint as well as myself, is a noise factor. This, Matt showed you where his farm is. There's a line that goes, a straight line, that black line goes through there. And the Hill family owns that cleared ground and about 50 some acres of woods or thereabout, maybe a little bit more. And I've been hunting there since Bill Walters had owned that farm, which goes back in the 70s. When Mr. Wall started that track, I don't know whether he started for himself or his family, but you could hear some motorcycles once in a while. And it got progressively worse and progressively worse. And now, I don't know what it's going to turn into be. It's according up to you commissioners, I guess, but what Matt says, you go back there on weekends with your family and try to hunt. And I guess I'm maybe greedy, but weekends is when everybody can hunt. And that's the issue with me. And there's been times that they say on weekends, but Matt would have to verify this, but there's times that we've been out there during the week that you'll hear them run too. It's not just on the weekends. It's been that way, and I don't know how much more that they're going to do, but if they get this zoned the way they want it zoned, I guess they can turn it loose to do whatever they want to do. That's all I have to say about the noise factor. Is the one thing. It's a family issue with my grandchildren that go with me and 3 or 4 friends. And like I say, we've been hunting on that farm for back in the 70s. And it's getting just a little bit, I think it's getting a little bit out of hand, but that's all I had to say. And I have nothing against motorcycles because I love stock car races and everything else. I go everywhere I can go. But, you know, let's get a schedule of when they're going to run and when they're not going to run if it is zoned that way. And I think that you brought that up, Mr. Chair. But that's it, if anybody's got any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Walls. Representative Walls, we'll ask anybody up front here or on the phone if they have any questions for this individual. Thank you very much. We appreciate your comments. If there's anybody else here who'd like to come to the microphone to speak, please come to the mic, give your name and address.
My name is Jennifer Feint. My address is 4330 Big Stone Beach Road, Milford, Delaware.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you.
My husband, Matt, has already spoken to you about our concerns, predominantly about the noise and also about the sediment into the tax ditch. When we bought our property, we bought this 175-acre property with the intention of using it as our recreational place. We enjoy the outdoors. We like being out there with our sons. We have 2 young sons, just like a lot of these other folks who have spoken this evening. Y'all like motorbikes. We like to be outside, you know, watching the deer and the turkeys and the bald eagles and, you know, all those kind of things. When you have this level of noise surrounding you that you cannot get away from on your very own property, it just takes all the joy right out of it. Now, these folks that have their motorbikes, you know, the lady that spoke, I'm sorry, I don't recall her name, she said that these bikes are $5,000 to $10,000. Yes, that's a doozy of an investment. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of these neighboring landowners have millions of dollars. That poultry farm that Mr. Davis there was concerned about, that's a multi-million-dollar property. These are extremely significant differences. All of these, or the vast majority of these people who have spoken in favor of this that say that they come down to this property and they race, they don't have a dime in it. They're not local. They're from Wilmington. They're from, Newark, that kind of thing. They are not local to the area. They are not having to listen to this at all times on their own property. No one is infringing upon their property. They can pick up that $10,000 dirt bike and take it somewhere else. I can't pick up my 175 acres and take it somewhere else. The fact that they were mentioning the money coming into the community, I don't really buy that. Yeah, they're going to come in, they might buy gas, they might buy food or parts or whatever. That's a drop in the bucket compared to the amount of money that the adjoining landowners have invested in that area and their property taxes and things of that nature. I don't think it's a valid point. I know that my husband had mentioned, the being able to hear the noise on all parts of our property, and it's very true. It's very disturbing. I know I did some research with the county code about noise. And it's quite obvious that it meets the definition of a noise disturbance. It is bothersome to a person of reasonable sense. If you come out to our property, I know my husband invited you all out there, you're more than welcome. It's ridiculous. I don't know if this is allowable, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and you can tell me if it's not. That's what it sounds like. That's straight from their own Facebook page of, just one bike. Can you imagine that times 80? That one gentleman said that sometimes they have had 80, even 30. That's ridiculous. I just don't think that the zoning of industrial, again, as Mr. Schrock and others have said, it's opening a big old can of worms. You don't know what a future landowner of that property might try to put on that property. Okay, this gentleman might say that he's just going to race from, whatever time to whatever time on Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Well, if he gets this approved and it's changed to industrial and he gets his conditional use or whatever the procedure is, who's to stop him from expanding that time or expanding the number or the size or whatever? There's no policing there. We as adjoining landowners should not be out there to police what he is doing or not doing. And I feel quite certain that no one from the county is going to be riding by there every weekend or every day to see that he's adhering to what was, said was going to happen. So I appreciate your time. I really hope that everyone, listens to the opposition and the regulations as they're written, because I really do not feel that this meets those requirements.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I think that's the first time I've had an audio played in front of me at a public hearing.
I figured
maybe we're crossing new adventures because of the phone and everything else tonight. So we are into 2021. So
they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. In this case, that's worth 1,000 words.
Thank you. Thank you. Does any commissioners have any questions for this individual? If not, I will ask once again, is there anybody else here against this project and would like to speak? Third and last call, is there anybody else here against this project and would like to speak? If not, this project will be taken up at next week's meeting. Yeah, we're going to let, if the group would like to leave and all, we'll take a small break here before we hear the next application.
Am I able to ask a question about the process before I go home? I
have to contact the planning office tomorrow.
Okay.
You can contact Ms. Kiefer or any of her planners, and they'll be able to advise you. 744-2471. Okay, we'll continue with our meeting. We'll go to our third application. It's actually ordinance number LC 21-16 and application number CZ-21-05, Capital Cities. Applicant is NKS Distributors Incorporated, care of Paul Ruggiero, 399 New Churchman's Road, Newcastle, Delaware, 19720. Owner is Capital Cities / ABC Incorporated, care of Chris Silva, 4100 City Lane Avenue, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19131. Engineer is Becker Morgan Group, attention J. Michael Riemann, 309 South Governors Avenue, Dover, Delaware, 19904. Present zoning, comp plan map designation is AC, agriculture conservation, low density residential. Proposed zoning is comprehensive plan map designation BG, general business, highway commercial. Relation to growth zone inside, Levy Court District the 1st, Maston. School district is Smyrna. Fire district is Smyrna, Station 44. Area and location, 6.23 plus or minus acres located off the southbound side of Route 1, approximately 675 feet south of Big Oak Road and approximately 1,760 feet north of West Big Woods Road, south of Smyrna. Is there someone here to represent this application?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Mike Ryman with Becker Morgan Group. My address is 309 South Governors Avenue, Dover, Delaware. 199.
You swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Great. So I also have with me tonight Paul Ruggiero and Kathy Willis representing NKS in the back, and I have Peter Yangst with Terabicos Grasso Hoffman, who is legal counsel for the project. So this property is actually located just to the north of the NKS site, which you may recall was before you a number of months ago. And is currently under construction. That was approved as a conditional use application for a new warehouse distribution facility that should be opening sometime in April. This parcel with the star on it is about 6.23 acres. It's currently zoned AC, and we are requesting to rezone the property to BG. The property, actually became available while the project, the NKS project had started. It became available on the market, and the NKS has taken the opportunity to contract to purchase that property for obvious reasons. They have a major investment that's happening there. The property next door became available, and they're purchasing that for any potential future growth. We don't have any current plans for the parcel right now. We are just looking to rezone the property such that it's consistent with the BG zoning of the parcel where they are currently under construction. The parcel today currently has a communication tower on the parcel. The current property owner no longer has a use for that tower. Upon settlement of the property and successful rezoning, the tower will be removed. And so that will no longer continue. Regardless of NKS's use of the property, that tower will come down. Next slide. So the existing zoning, you can see around the property, BG is in red. You can see a lot of BG in the area, which is the zone that we are requesting. So it's very consistent with the neighboring zoning. There is an IL zone just to the west of us, which is a limited industrial zone, and then an RM or high density residential zone to our north. You can see Route 1, is this laser guy? Yeah, Route 1 here, Big Woods Road on the bottom, Route 13 right there, and Big Oak Road right there. Nope, I'm hitting the wrong, oh, there we go. So tonight what we're going to cover is how our project complies with the rezoning standard within the code, addressing changing character of the neighborhood, comprehensive plan compliance, adequate facilities and infrastructure, and compatibility with surrounding communities. As was stated, the project or property is located within the Kent County growth zone as shown here. The property and requested zoning is in compliance with both the 2008 comprehensive plan as well as the 2018 update to the comprehensive plan. Both of those plans called for this property to be a highway commercial use. Our requested zoning of BG is very consistent with that use or with that designation. Changing character, there's a number of commercial uses in the area. So the obvious change in the character is NKS's new facility located here. We've also have some a major intersection improvement that's going on here as part of that project. So a new signalized intersection is going in there. And Big Woods Road is also being widened and upgraded. You may recall that from the hearings associated with the project. We have the Willis Chevrolet car dealership located here. We have a number of other commercial facilities there. And then we have some limited industrial uses as well. As for adequate facilities, the property is located within Kent County Sewer District. So sewer is available to the property. As I previously stated, we do have a new signalized intersection and road improvements that are happening here. And there is water also available to the property. So we do believe that there are adequate facilities to serve the property. Compatibility with surrounding zoning. As I had shown you before, it is very compatible with the surrounding zoning. BG is consistent with the zoning of the NKS parcel, the Willis Chevrolet parcel, and then there's a number of other parcels and remaining lands along Big Woods Road. There's BG, as you can see, up and down Route 13 here, and then also across from Route 13, and limited industrial just directly adjacent to us to our west. So we do think that the property is consistent with the surrounding communities and the surrounding zoning. With that, happy to answer any questions you may have.
I see at this time you don't have to have a traffic study. If it goes through, then you'll be coming back with a design and everything to us anyway, correct?
That is correct, Mr. Jester. So if a plan is developed for the property that would necessitate a traffic study, we would do that.
Okay, I'll open it up to the other commissioners. Anybody up front here or on the phone have any questions for the engineer? Seeing none, I thank you for your presentation. I appreciate you being patient and waiting tonight.
No problem. Thank you.
Is there someone else here that's in favor of this project and would like to speak? One more time. Is there anybody else here in favor of this project and would like to speak? If not, we'll go to the against side. Anyone here against this project and would like to speak? Anyone against this project would like to speak? And third and final time, anyone against this project would like to speak? If not, this project will come on our agenda next week. Thank you very much for your presentation. Our final application for tonight, ordinance number LC 21-17, application number and name CZ-21-06, Ronald and Teresa Lloyd. Applicant is Ronald and Teresa Lloyd, 1298 Almhouse Road, Wyoming, Delaware, 19934. Owners are William Walters, Evelyn Moore, Samuel E. Walters III, Sadie Swain, Elizabeth Walters, and Betty Wood. Present zoning comprehensive plan map designation is RS1, single family residential, and BG, business general, medium density residential, and highway commercial. Proposed zoning comprehensive plan designation BG, business general, highway commercial. In relation to the growth zone inside, Levy Court District 5th, Mr. Sweeney. School district is Lake Forest. Fire district is Felton, Station 48. Area and location is 30.9 plus or minus acres located on the west side of South DuPont Highway, Delaware Route 13, north side of East Evans Road, County Road 32, 240 feet west of the intersection of Evans Road and South DuPont Highway, east of Iowa. Is there someone here to represent this application? Please come to the microphone and give us your name.
Ronnie Lloyd. I live at 1298 Almshouse Road, Wyoming, Delaware.
Mr. Lloyd, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I have a contract on on this property from the Walters. They all know me. Everybody around there knows me. They know what I'm going to build there, and whatever I build is going to be first class. We're in the horse trailer business. We're wanting to expand our business, hire more people. And the facility we're in now is not big enough. We're going to probably build about a 15,000 square foot building to where we can do maintenance work and everything there. I've been in the horse trailer business and flatbed cargo trailer business for probably 35 years or plus. And anybody knows me, we do everything first class. Not a whole lot really here to say about it. The Waters family does not want houses built on this property. I give my word I wasn't going to build it. And when I tell somebody something is written in stone, that's the way I am. Anybody knows me, that's the way they'll find it. As far as what the counties recommend and what we're going to do there, that's not going to be enough property to do what we're going to do. Because I'm even thinking about what we're going to do there. Beside the horse trailer business, we're probably even going to put a store in there for like Western goods and all that kind of stuff. And part of this property, I got a couple people that's wanting partials of it. One of them is Brentford Animal Hospital. And then on the corner there where that 0.9 acres is already zoned commercial, the fellow that owns Canterbury Homes was interested in squaring his property off. So until I get this, with buying this property, with contention, so getting this rezoned, I can tell you one thing, the Waters don't want a bunch of houses built here. We have enough houses in King County now. I was born and raised here. My wife is born and raised here. And like you said, everything I do is going to be first class. That's all really I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. I would like to ask staff before we get into this, how did staff come up with the acreage out front and coming back 470 feet from the highway?
What staff is proposing is a compromise. The requested rezoning is not supported by the comprehensive plan. It would not recommend rezoning the entire thing. Given that there's some existing commercial zoning along the highway frontage, staff is simply offering a compromise rather than rezoning the entire parcel, simply rezoning along the frontage. We thought a reasonable argument could be made. Keeping in mind, again, when looking at a rezoning, we do not discuss what might be developed.
Seeing that you said that's not enough, how much acres were you anticipating needing to use for your businesses that you want to build?
Well, part of the Waters family asked me when I bought this property off of them on the road of Rural Tan Road. They was wanting to know if once I get the zoning changed to where I want it to be, if I would keep a few lots there for their family members. The Waters family has been there for years and years and years. And I told them, yes, I would sell them building lots there. But as far as the rest of it, I was going to try to get his own commercial.
So what you're saying is, out of the 30.9 acres, maybe 20 acres would be suitable for you and leave out the other 10?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Just a question I have as chairman of this committee.
Like I said, for what I'm doing, we're going to take up a pretty good space ourselves. Because normally on any given time, my place is full of trailers. Right now, it looks like we're going out of business because we can't get product. And if nothing don't change, nobody's going to need nothing.
Yeah, and I know everything blamed on COVID-19. So I think Mr. Davis has a question for you, Mr. Lloyd.
All right.
Yeah, I live not too far from you. I live north of Woodside Lake, so I am familiar with the business. And you do have a nice place. I'm kind of like Mr. Jester. Where's there a compromise here? The county's recommended 9.6 acres. You say it's not adequate, so do you feel comfortable with the 10 acres? What did you say, 20? 20 acres, and that would leave you enough for a couple building lots for if Sammy Waters or one of them guys want to live there.
Yeah, like you said, as long as I can get at least 20 acres of that zone commercial for what we're going to do, that would be fine. Like I said, I did give my word. If we get it all changed around, I know Joe, her son, Doug, he wants to build a house there, and there's probably a couple more. Matter of fact, I don't know if I even talked to Bob. Me and Bob Waters, a good friend. He might even want to move back there.
So I guess what they currently propose as a recommendation that is along US 13 going down to the Evans Road, it would just be a matter of moving that thing over to get you the 20 acres you would need.
Yes, sir.
And I would check. I would guess that would leave enough for family members to build a house, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Any other commissioners have any questions, either on the phone or up front here? Do we have anybody there, Mark?
Yeah, I just would like.
Do we have somebody? Mr.
Yeah, I'd
Mills?
like to clear up something.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Mr. Mills.
hold on. Okay, the modified proposed from the county right now is what's in blue. Is that correct? What they've got marked in blue, is that correct?
That's correct, with the acreage that you see on your.
That's a proposed modification. Okay, Mr. Lloyd is the whole 30 acres goes all the way back to Rural-Tan Road. So he's willing to move that line on the west side, move it all the way over to where he's got enough room to get houses along Rural-Tan Road and up along that single line right there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that, Mr. Lloyd, is that correct?
Yeah, and plus we need to come over because already DelDOT is going to want that road entrance moved down further anyhow because of traffic and stuff.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear that out of the 30 acres, 30 acres is a total.
Yes, sir.
30 acres is a total of the whole property, and you're willing to go all the way to 20 acres for the to change the zoning.
Yeah, and that way the back side of it will be residential. Yes.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Mills?
Yes.
Anybody else, Mr. Savarlo or anybody on the phone have any more questions? Thank you, sir. Great presentation.
Thank you.
You got one more thing, Mr. Davis?
Well, I just want to bring this thing up because I think it's a consensus here. If that northern part of that property is 400-some feet, and we give him an additional 10 acres, and you're pushing that thing over, is there going to be enough room for those houses, or should he have that thing L-shaped, is what I'm trying to say. In other words, keep what you currently have and put the remaining part on the north side of the property, because it looks to me like it's going to be a little bit tight. Now, I'm not an engineer, but I'm trying to give him the best deal he can get here, that he will have enough room to do something for the private houses for the family and also have something for his business. So, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Jester? That's when you move that 9 acres or another 9 or 10 acres, it's getting pretty close to the Roy-Tan Road.
Sarah, is there some way or another you can tell us the road frontage on Roy-Tan Road by next week's meeting?
So it's about 700 feet.
We'll put together another exhibit for you.
Okay, because if you look at the lots that could be on Roy-Tan Road, I'm assuming that you want to do the 4 lots that could be done in that area with 200 foot of depth and all like that in frontage. So we'll work on it.
Yeah,
Sarah,
we
get
can
us
get it
something.
drawn out to where, where
Right.
it works. And all
We're
this.
willing to work with the public, and I appreciate your presentation. Anybody else has any comments? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
for being patient and waiting tonight. We
See
certainly
you.
thank you. Anybody else here for this application? Please come to the mic.
Do Need to be re-sworn in, or?
No, you've been sworn. Just identify yourself.
Okay, I'm Justin Conacy, 7005 Shawnee Road, Milford, Delaware. I own the business to the north of Mr. Lloyd, Brass Sales at 8092 South DuPont Highway. And as Mr. Lloyd said, he does everything first class and does a good job with things. It'll add to the area by creating more jobs, more business, creates an area for people to come to. And our businesses support each other with what we each sell, and I think it'd be a positive for the area. So that's all I'm gonna say.
We appreciate you waiting, Mr. Conacy. Does anybody else here have any question for Mr. Conacy? Or on the phone? Thank you. One last call. Is there anybody else here for the project? Is there anybody here against the project? Anybody here against the project? 1/3 last time. Anybody here against this project? If not, we will be taking this project up next week. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your presentations. Now down to public comment. Seeing only about one public left, I don't know if you have any comment or not or whatever. Commissioner comments? Anybody on the phone or anybody here have any comments? Any other business before the commission tonight? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. Sarah, please call the commission.
Mr. Peterman?
Yes.
Mr. Servon?
Yes to adjourn.
Mrs. Karcher?
Yes.
Mr. Mills?
Yes, to adjourn.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, to adjourn.
Mr. Jester?
Yes to adjourn. Thank you all for coming.